We'll now discuss some of the cool things that we can do in Python with our numbers. So, first of all, this web page for the Python docs is very useful for understanding functions and operations around numbers. So I've pulled that up over here on another screen. And over here, if we look at numeric types, this is, again, just the Python documentation. And I've scrolled down here just slightly, and this is what I've included in the screenshot in the PowerPoint. It describes how we can manipulate our numbers and combine them in certain ways or do mathematical operations. And I invite you to take a look at that documentation whenever it's convenient for you. So let's try out a few of these. We see we can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, various other things. We're going to highlight this remainder as well. So x mod, that's what this is called with these operations, is mod, or modulus. So x mod y would give us the remainder of x divided by y, and we'll show you what that means, but that can be very handy. Absolute value of x, we would input an integer or float here as x, and it would give us the absolute value. We can convert between integer and float. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the next section. We can do power operations, so x to the power of y. And then if we use a module, which we'll get more into later in the course as well, a math module, we can do various other things that are powerful with numbers. So let's show a few examples here. We've already done addition, my integer plus my float. We realized that creates a float. We can just use simple numbers now. Let's say 5 divided by 2, that's 2.5. Right, so that's just divided by 5 minus 2. Let's see, 5 times 3 is 15. We're just showing some simple mathematical operations. And let's talk about, let's do some power as well, some exponents here. 5 times 3, let's do 2 to make it simple. So 5 squared, 5 to the power of 2 is 25. 10 cubed, or 10 times 10 times 10, 10 to the power of 3 is 1,000. So we see that's how we can do some exponential calculations there. And I want to conclude this section with also showing modulus. So 5 mod 2. That's the same as 5 divided by 2 here, except it keeps whole numbers and gives us the remainder. So 5 divided by 2, if it were a whole number, well, it'd be 2 goes into 5 2 times with a remainder of 1. So 5 divided by 2, 5 divided by 2, but modulus means give us the remainder. And these are whole numbers. So the remainder is 1. So what if we do 6 mod 2? In other words, 6 divided by 2 would give us the remainder. The remainder is 0. About 1 mod 2. Also 1. 2 mod 2. 0. 3 mod 2. 1. 4 mod 2. 0. I imagine you're seeing a pattern here. When we have an odd number and we do mod 2, the result is 1. When we have an even number and we do mod 2, the result is 0. So, giving you a little preview of what's to come in future segments, future sections, we can easily determine if a number is even or odd using this modulus operator. So to conclude, we've done some simple mathematical operations, and there's many more, as we saw in this list. Remember, we can also assign variables to replace our numbers or to represent our numbers. So my number 1 is, let's say 10. My num2 is 5.5. And then we can use my num1 times my num2. And that's the same as if we were just performing those operations on these values themselves, but we're using variables. Okay, on to the next section.